Hi, Amy.
Debby.
We just watched 90 Day Fiancé, Season 12, Episode 5. Do you want to share any preliminary thoughts on this episode?
I found it irritating.
Fuck, come on.
What?
It's always a negative. Irritating, annoying, frustrating, boring.
I was surprised to see that it was only episode 5.
Yes.
And I'm in an excellent mood. So at least I know that
Okay.
it's not my mood. Again, I've said this so many times since the season has started. On episode 5, there's just like no feel good things. Like nothing great. I look forward to seeing the other new couple next week. The woman from Brazil with the tiny things. Brazil.
God,
Brazil.
new country.
So I am looking forward to that. But there was so much, like you're saying, I'm negative, but there was so much negativity in here and just absolute absurdity.
You do have a point. There was a lot of absurdity, and there is a lot of negative stuff in the show. That's true. I think that's how they manage the drama, is to give us a lot of the negatives so that we end up talking about it. You're right. Yeah. Maybe a negative word isn't a bad way to start the show, after all.
It's not one of those super exciting wedding episodes like for Maps or something. Like this was just completely different. There was one moment that I did enjoy, but we'll get to that when we do.
When we do. Before we dive into this week's positive and negatives, let's do our quick 1 and 2. 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to this podcast. And 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé. Honestly, now we may begin with Marissa and Edward. Would you like to start? Or shall I?
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to cut myself off because I realized that that came out of my mouth. She never let her ex-husband use her bathroom.
Oh, you want to go there first? Okay. Yeah.
Well, where do I even start with this one? Just, she's so controlling. She's treating him like an absolute child, just like barking orders at him. Not like, I forgot to tell you that we don't wear shoes in the house. So please take off your shoes. No, take off your shoes. Shoes. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like she's trying to be funny all the time. She's trying to be jokey and lighthearted about the way that she addresses him, but it always comes off as an order, like you said, barking at him.
Yeah.
And it's especially on that walk/jog that they did. Like, she was very aggressive with him, and I did not appreciate that.
I didn't either. Like, can't you just slow it down for a sec? The guy is actually jogging right beside you. It is blasting hot. I don't even think they had water on them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably jet lagged. So, no?
Same time zone for Dominican as Pennsylvania, wherever they are.
Okay, maybe just tired from, the trip and the stress leading up to it. Now she just wants to, like, exhaust him further. Okay, anyway, the bathroom.
With the 2 showers in one bathroom? This is a new thing for me.
I have 2 showers in one bathroom.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. I have like a standalone shower, and then the other one is like the bathtub shower thing.
Okay.
The standalone one I use it for storage only, but it's a fully functional thing. But I don't know why it's there. My landlord doesn't know why it's there. So, I don't know.
All right. Okay. But aside from the 2 showers, you are right. There were a lot of rules. Okay. So they call it rules, and I kind of object to the term rules, but the way that she was discussing them with him did take on that tone of, like you said, commanding, which was off-putting. Clearly, she has been living alone for a long time, and so she's enjoyed being the absolute master of her domain, and now things are going to change a little bit, so perhaps she needs a little bit of time to adjust. I hope she can adjust, but the way that she's setting things up, the way that she's treating him, does make me wonder if she's going to end up feeling like she's his mother, which ended up being, at the end of the show, one of the previews for next week, I think she was saying, I feel like I've got another kid. Well, yeah, you are treating him as if he is a kid. And there are a lot of situations where people can act like a kid, and then you have to sort of bring their attention to it. But he's not acting like a child, and she has to tell him, hey, no, like, I don't appreciate that. It doesn't work for me. It makes me feel like your mom. She is deliberately setting him up like he is the child in their adult relationship, because she has to tell him, take your shoes off. Don't use this shower, or I'm letting you use my bathroom. My ex-husband wasn't allowed to. Like, What? What do you mean allowed to?
She's putting herself in that position, like, she's already playing that role for herself. So,
Yes.
by her saying in the next episode that she feels like she's his mother, well, it's because you're treating him that way. He hasn't even settled, and he's already got a litany of boundaries, I guess, or commands or whatever. The poor guy. He can't even make the bed right, and she
Nope.
said that, sure, she is a little bit controlling. She's, been living alone for so long, and the control gives her comfort. What about how he feels? Where's
What
the compromise here?
What about even allowing him to eat what he wants to for breakfast? She was
Yeah.
controlling over the food that he was having in the morning as well. I was like, if the man wants to eat something, give him real food. Don't just shove a protein shake down his throat and say, what was it? Close your eyes. It'll make the taste better or something. Like, it sounded like it didn't even have a nice flavor to it, and she was making him choke it down. Okay. Like, just say to him, if you don't want to be his mother, whatever you would like for breakfast, go ahead and get for yourself. The fridge
Mhm.
is there, the cereal's there, the cooking stuff is there. If you want to make yourself a breakfast or make us breakfast, go for it. Not, here's your shake, drink it. Here's an egg, eat it. This is all you're allowed to have for breakfast because I'm making us a protein-based meal. What?
That's not very welcoming for him. And
Hmm.
I okay, so there were two things that I enjoyed about this episode. His excitement about like everything was so cute, especially when he got to like the touch faucet thing and he
Yes.
was just absolutely losing his mind and giggling, and you could tell like she was laughing, but it was almost like a forced laughter, like when a kid tells you a joke like 20 times over and you just pretend that it gets funnier and funnier, but it's really not. So
Mhm.
again, with her response, now I want one of those taps.
Get yourself a tap if that will make you happy.
I might have to do that. Anyway, just his laughter was just infectious, and it was very genuine, and I thought it was very cute. And I think that she's just going to absolutely smother him, and I feel really bad for
Yeah,
him.
I felt that as well with the tap. He was genuinely having a moment of glee and joy over this discovery, and she was merely tolerating it or indulging him somehow. Like, she did not find it funny at all. She was like, "Oh my god, this guy is so not uncultured, but just because of his background, he hasn't been exposed to these modern miracles." So I think you said this probably in episode 1, that she's gonna get frustrated with the fact that he doesn't have as much life experience and exposure as she does, and that was a prime example of a tiny little moment like that for them.
Yeah, not looking forward to it. And something else that really bothered me about their segment was the discussion about his circumcision.
Mhm.
The fact that he did it for her because she was like, "Doesn't look right to me. Fix it."
Yeah, because
Mm,
originally she presented as he wanted to do this circumcision because he wanted to fit in with American men and American culture, which you and I were both kind of puzzled over, like, what? How does this work? But now his point of view is she made him do it, in effect, which rings a little truer. It makes
yes,
more
I think
sense to me.
yeah, me too. But
Okay.
I could not believe when he started talking about it, like her opinion of it or her reaction to it, and then he goes and that's a lot. Like to go in and have what is actual like genital mutilation, like a voluntary genital mutilation done to appease your girlfriend, fiance,
Mhm.
and then when he shows her, she's like, "Oh, it actually looks good," as if she was worried that this, would look I don't know what she thought it was gonna look like, but could you imagine, like, him being like, "Is this good enough now?" Like, he didn't have any control over what happened during the surgery.
Yeah.
What? But
Yeah,
at least
it's
it was good enough for her.
thankfully. Another good point from this segment, which I'm sure you appreciated as well, was when they got into bed, the lights were dim, they started kissing, and screen, wow, such a complicated word, and the screen slowly faded to black. And that was it. We left them alone in their bed to do whatever they were going to do. I was like, yes, this is more like it. Thank you. A little bit of privacy for the couple, not too much gratuitous information visually for the viewer. And we know that, they're doing whatever they're doing. Good.
Yeah, but
But
we heard all about it the next day.
sure, that's fine. If they wanna boast
The
about their sex life,
innuendos,
I don't
the
object to that too much.
implications.
Yeah,
Again, I'm not
innuendo is
pleased,
fine. It's
but
when they start getting gross and grossly detailed that I start finding it difficult to listen to. If they wanna use little metaphors and analogies, go for it.
I take your point. Yes.
But it
No,
was
you're
still
right.
too
Like,
much.
not like they didn't show us all the things. They didn't go into grandiose details or whatever you wanted to call it. So you're right. You're right. Maybe I'm just being a dick.
You're not being a dick. Where do we go to next? The meeting with Michael? Okay. One thing I was happy to have discovered in this episode was that she actually had taken her two boys to the Dominican to meet Edward in the past. So they all already know each other, not just through video chat, but through actual physical time spent together. Love
That
that.
was good. Yes.
One thing that was sad was finding out that Edward actually wanted to have his own family, but he has deliberately chosen Marissa over having his own family because he loves her. So I guess you could call that bittersweet, maybe. And I'm not sure if that's a decision he's really going to be happy about in the future, just given what's happened so far.
I mean, I guess we'll see. Maybe the kids will love him and he will get to be the best step parent that he could possibly be. I thought the conversation with Michael was, he came off really aggressive at first, but then I think Edward handled it so well. He was so respectful. He was he listened. He didn't react. He was just okay. We want the same things for the kids, and thank God someone's thinking about the kids, because how many times have we seen people just not? But he's like, no, the kids are my top priority. I thought that was great. And you could see him soften when he starts talking about Marissa's family and how belittled he felt by them. So I thought that was the point where he kind of, let Edward in a little bit. You're this is what you're getting into. Like, just pay attention to it. And I think afterwards Edward felt kind of slighted because he said, you're giving me some of this advice, but I don't need it because I won't feel that way. I feel like your
Yeah,
wife might make you feel that way, let alone her family.
true. Yes, very much so.
Anyway, I thought he handled it really well.
I agree. I think Michael was difficult at first. Michael was deliberately trying to out alpha Edward, and I was worried. I was very concerned. But then when he started talking about his own personal experience with Marissa, and when he prefaced that by saying, look, I may not have been a great husband, but I try to be the best ex husband, I thought that was a wonderful way to put it. Like
Hmm.
very adult, very mature, and very respectful. Obviously, the kids are going to be their top priorities, so they're trying to get along as much as they can. And it seems like he genuinely cares about Marissa. Even though he's not in love with her anymore, he cares about her. And I think that is really, really key. So Edward's reaction, I thought he was holding it together really well because I wasn't sure if he was just about to crack and basically tell Michael to go stick it up his bum, with his show
Advice.
offiness. Yeah. Not with the advice, because by the time they got to the section where Michael was offering his advice through his own personal experience, I thought, okay, Edward's under control and these guys are just talking to each other as friends, and now it seems okay. But in the private interview afterwards, when Edward said that he was, what was it? He was going to ignore the advice. I was like, wow, that's pretty harsh. Given what he just told you about how important that was for him to feel like he was of value to Marissa and her family, and yet he didn't receive that from them. For you to dismiss that advice, I thought was just
Immature.
pretty, yeah. Yeah. So that's it for my comments on those two. Do you have anything else? Okay, lovely. Let's move on to Mallorie and Rasit. Oh my
Rashid.
God.
So
Rashid. Okay.
I was wrong last week when I
About
said
the
he was coming
doggy.
over to pick up the dog, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, shoot, I was
Mm-hmm.
wrong. So
Yeah.
I wanted to say that, and the show's gonna make me spend money. Now I want a pet camera. What are the cats doing? Where
Yeah.
are you sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
I found this segment to be very, very uncomfortable. Brandon having his little interview thing saying that, what Rashid did was very disrespectful. And I don't even remember what he said. It was like at the
Okay,
initial
but
meeting.
it wasn't anything that he said, it was what he did. When he said, "You do not sit on the tailgate of another man's truck without being invited to."
No, this
And
was like when he went to pick up the pet camera. He was talking about how disrespectful Rashid was.
I did
No, maybe
not
no,
hear
okay.
that. No. Nope.
My lord, it is me. I am the problem. Rashid
Okey-dokey.
was complaining about Brandon
Yes.
being disrespectful by just showing up. Who lets me out of the house?
But you are still in the house,
I
so
I am now.
yeah,
But
I
like
know. Well, this is what I was saying last week, that it is too much for Brandon to show up within such short a space of time of them having just arrived
mm,
to pick up his pet camera. Like if it had been his dog, like you mistakenly thought, then fine, okay, it's his dog. But this is an object, just a little camera. You can wait 24 hours at least.
the dog made more sense. So that's why my brain took it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it bothered me that Rashid was all upset with Brandon when Mallory had told him previously that he was coming over. So this is
Mm-hmm.
on Mallory. This isn't on Brandon.
Okay. Yep.
You need to talk to her. And then the discussion that they had, when he said, you can't be friends with any men and any man who wants to talk to you has to go through me. Like that whole conversation was super uncomfortable. Now he's just trying to piss on her leg. She is mine. You must go through me. I am the alpha man. And did they talk about this before? I don't think so because he said, like, tell me that you confirm yes or no that they have to go through me. And I think she said no.
I don't believe she gave an answer, or maybe she did say no. But if we can just backtrack a little bit, because
Sorry, I went
there
off.
are a couple of things that were happened before this, like Mallory saying she hoped that Brandon and Rashid could be friends. In
No.
what universe? No. I think she already knew that, but why she was saying that, I don't know. And then Brandon himself was quite friendly towards him at the start when he came over to
Mhm.
the house to get the pet cam. He was friendly. He was nice. He was talking about the party that they were all having him, and in order to welcome him to Alabama and to give him that experience of the redneck culture. Just like everything seemed really cool coming from Brandon's side. And then we get the part with the dogs in the bed, and he loses his shit over that and says that
Mm.
dogs should live outside.
God
Again,
did
like,
not intend for animals to live indoors.
what?
Maybe you need to speak with Ashia because apparently both of you know more about what God says than the rest of us human beings on earth.
Do you mean Aisha?
Yeah, that's
Who?
what I say.
You said Asha.
Oh,
I was like, who the heck is Asha? All right. So, yes, I objected to him kicking the dogs out of the bedroom.
I'm laughing at myself.
I know. And claiming that it was God's intent for all pets to live outside. Like, no, that's just stupid. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get injured. There's dangers to them. No, be reasonable, sir, please. Then the conversation about Rashid not wanting Mallory to be friends with any men. And if they call, they have to call him first. And then he will speak to her. Like, holy crap. This is some misogynistic shit. Like supremely misogynistic and chauvinistic. Something I was not expecting to hear out of him. We have not seen anything thus far that would indicate that Rashid is a raging, I was going to say patronizing, but that's not the right word. He's just a raging 1960s husband. You know what I mean?
Patriarchal? Is that the
Very.
word that you were looking for? Yes.
Probably. Yeah, that was just disgusting. So I'm not sure where we're going in this relationship. If he thinks that that's appropriate and if she objects to it, then how are they going to overcome it? Or if she allows it, what are the repercussions going to be? Like there's just like it could be a big old mess.
I don't think that it's going to continue to be a thing. The way that I see it is he's going to try to enforce it, I guess.
Mhm.
And all of her friends, aka mostly everyone who's at that party, are going to laugh in his face.
Mhm. Okay.
You haven't earned our respect for us to have to go through you. That's not how this works anymore. And then they are going to ostracize him. And then Mallory is going to have to choose. Is that right? Mallory is going to have to choose between her friends and Rashid.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just,
Mhm.
it doesn't, I don't see that flying with the community that she has, especially the ones that we saw later on in the show. I
Yeah.
can't see them respecting, I'm going to say it, him, let alone her viewpoint or his
Y
viewpoint.
yeah, and it's not just because he has an outdated approach to modern relationships and or marriage, it's also because he's Muslim and because apparently some of the people that Mallory associates with, not necessarily her friends, have labeled him a terrorist without knowing anything about him, simply because he is Muslim and comes from another country. So this is concerning.
Yeah, quite. She claims that she doesn't associate with people like that. She said they needed to be uninvited from the party, but they're not her friends. Though she did tell Rashid when he first landed that some of her friends and family believe in deportation or
Yeah,
something to that effect.
yeah,
So
exactly.
are you picking and choosing what they're allowed to say, like how far they go?
Maybe.
That's just what it seems like. She was even crying about it. I'm like, stop with your alligator tears because I don't even think you know what you're saying, what you've said previously.
Mhm.
You're not protecting this man in any capacity. You were being extremely selfish, not thinking about his well being. Like his storyline in this episode was like, why are you being so standoffish and so rude? And oh my God, this is not how things work. And then it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
like I'm almost afraid for his safety at this point.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. The party doesn't seem to be a problem or an issue. He embraces the theme. I love the fact that they both got into those costumes.
So I told you that I had one moment that I really, really enjoyed, and it was when they were driving to the party and he rolls down the window and he moos at the cows.
I
How
don't
many
know
times have we done that? I mean,
if many, but I don't understand why he's never seen a cow before. There must be cows in Turkey.
how many times have we seen cows and yet we still do it? Even like driving in the car, it's like, oh, horses. Do you see the horses?
Yes,
The
always. We
novelty, just
always notice the animals.
especially the flamingos.
Flamingos are most noticeable and noteworthy,
Of course.
especially
So
with the little
I
tippy
appreciate
taps. Tippy,
all the
tippy,
tippy
tippy tap.
tappies and
Tippy
little bop.
tappies.
Oh, okay. Anyway, back
Yes,
I
back to the show.
his excitement was just so cute. And I was like, I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, I don't do it as often now that I am older, but I would do it if you were in the car with me. You got to say hi somehow because they
Yes, you
can't wave
do.
back.
It's rude not to.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. Anyway, so his whole attire I thought was so fun. And I should have written this word down. But there was one of her friends who was wearing like coveralls but no shirt, and he's like really wanted to show him what like the quintessential redneck something was, but he used a word that made me pause, and now I'm not going to remember it. Maybe it was like some form of quintessential.
He said white trash something or other. It was a white trash something party.
Maybe it was the word that came after that. Anyway, it was a
Okay.
longer word
Yeah.
and it really stopped me in my
Okay.
tracks because I'm like, you're talking as if you're a redneck, and yet I haven't heard that word spoken out loud in a very long time. So clearly you are very well educated, sir. So it's caught me off guard. Caught me off guard.
Okay. The moment when Rashid goes to talk to Brandon and sits on his tailgate without permission, I felt that was very inappropriate. Not the sitting on the tailgate. I had no idea about that being a
It's
thing.
not a thing.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. What's your source of knowledge on this? What is your reference point?
I have been to many a tailgate.
In Alabama?
Not in Alabama, I just mean in general. That's never been a thing. And then I was, doing my Reddit thing, and people on Reddit are losing their minds. This is not a thing in Alabama. There was one person that said, I live like 20 minutes away from there. That's not a thing.
Okay, so it's a Brandon thing.
Yeah. And this is the point where he was talking about the disrespect, and like, I feel like he went into that conversation with just absolute fisticuffs. Like, do you honestly think that Rashid, this man that just arrived from Turkey yesterday, day before, anyway, he's just arrived to the United States. Do you honestly think that he's going to have any a concept of the do's and don'ts of what to do at a tailgate party? let alone these rules that you have just randomly created for yourself. So he's pissing himself off and like projecting it onto this dude because how is he supposed to know? Maybe it was a Brandon thing, like nobody sits on my tailgate on my truck because it's his truck and whatever. The guy's there's no way he's gonna know that. So he just I feel like it's misdirected anger.
Yeah. I felt like it was completely arbitrary. And yeah, very odd thing to say when you know that this man has just arrived from Turkey. He has no way of knowing this. I didn't know this. You didn't know this. In fact, not anybody else on the planet knew this because apparently the Reddit community says it isn't a thing. So, yeah, where did that come from? I don't know. Do feel that there is a bit of disrespect, or maybe a lot, coming from Rasit because of the way that he calls Brandon Brandy all the time. And I
Oh,
think
I
he
didn't
knows what
notice
he's doing.
that.
I think he knows what he's up to. He just
I
will
didn't
not correct himself. Passive
I
aggressive.
don't like that.
Yes. Shall we read on?
Yes.
Okay, back to the most annoying person in this season of 90 Day Fiancé, Ashia and Maxwell. It's been 8 months since she saw him. Okay, I like the context. Thank you for illuminating me on the subject.
You're breathing. I was like, what are you looking at? Okay.
I'm trying to calm myself because this woman, I find it so frustrating to watch her. All right,
I think her mother finds her just as equally frustrating.
her friend, Aisha's friend, asks of Aisha, how do you overcome fraud in regards to the K1 visa? Because Aisha thinks that this is still a viable option. And I was like, yes, that is a wonderful question. How would you overcome
Excellent.
that? If you've already been found guilty as a fraudster within the eyes of US immigration, how the heck are you thinking that it will happen on your next time that you apply for the K1 for that to be forgiven, removed, erased, whatever?
I was going to say because the US Customs and immigration clearly has no record keeping skills and will
No,
just review it
of
and be like,
course.
no, everything, no, on your way.
Because everybody is honest who applies for a K1 visa. And had they been denied initially for being fraudulent, they would never try again. They would never. No. Yeah. Anyway, to this, Aisha says that there is no calling it quits in her mind. However, may I remind you, subtly, carefully, delicately, that last week, Aisha said that if she finds out something about Maxwell that she does not like on this trip, it will be over for her, which clearly is quits. So she's very selective in her quitting and not quitting.
And what is she going to find out about him that she's not going to like that is going to make her call it quits? Is it because he didn't get the chemical peel that she told him he needed to go see? Is it because he's not going to the gym 2 times a day? Is it because he hasn't scheduled his hair transplant yet or his transplant is not taking the way that she wanted it to?
Mhm. Yes. And somehow throughout all of this, it is determined already by God. He has navigated her to this man. So he is the perfect man for her. And yet she has to fix him first.
Yes. And I found it interesting when she said, my favorite Bible verse is, I didn't write down what the actual verse was, but whatever. And then, you go through all these trials and tribulations, whatever, and then you will get to the expected end. So she's like,
Yes.
everything's going to work out in my favor. My
Mhm.
question is, who's expecting this end? Is it God? Is it logic? Is it you? Because I feel like all of those expected ends might possibly be different.
Depending on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the expected ends might be one way for her, but then actually doesn't benefit Maxwell.
Hmm.
So it's so selfish. Everything that comes out of her mouth is incredibly selfish, I find. Even
Yep.
saying, I have complete faith that God won't let me down, because all God is really concerned about is letting you down. It's not in preventing wars, stopping diseases, helping the planet to actually make it so that we can breathe the air and drink the water and keep on surviving as a population. I mean, you have faith that God won't let you down, but Maxwell might have no lack of faith that you will let him down, or he might have a lack of faith that God will let him down, or Maxwell might let you down. This is not all about you and God giving you exactly what you wanted. This is a complex machine with many parts, and you are not at the center of that machine. Other people are involved.
If so, her thought process that God will give her everything that she wants and needs, doesn't that put her higher than God.
Interesting point of view. I had not thought of that.
He has to grovel to ensure that she is happy, but what is she doing to make him happy? She's telling someone that they are physically not good enough.
I know. I know.
What is this about judgment? You must not judge thy neighbor or some whatever.
Do
It's
not
been a long
judge
time.
lest thee be judged.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Also, she's nasty. The attitude towards her mom is horrible. I pray that she sleeps the whole time talking about her mom on the plane so that she won't have to speak with her mom or deal with her because, as she says, her mom is irritating and annoying. Lovely. This is very godlike behavior, is it not? Isn't
Yeah.
there a commandment about respecting your parents?
Something to that. Yep.
Something like that. Yeah.
But no, she's better than everyone else. I did find it cute when her mom was just like, I'm hungry. I hope we can find some food soon. And then they're in the elevator and she starts like
Singing.
about wanting food.
Yeah.
They get
that
on
was
the
cute.
plane and she still wants food. Dude, you couldn't have just stopped and picked up something
They
for
did. They
her?
were eating donuts. They were eating warm donuts. And I'm
Okay, well,
surprised you did not talk about that.
I don't want a donut right now.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you do.
Why? I had someone literally shove a donut in my face on Saturday and I said no.
Okay. Was it not a good
And
donut? Was it a moldy donut?
it was glazed. No, it was glazed. No. Anyway, it's
Who
not
would say
about
no
the
to a
donuts.
glazed donut? Okay, Maxwell. Let's talk about Maxwell. Because sweet Maxwell has been trying to put on weight, grow more hair, and smooth his face, all for Ashia.
And the
And
first thing he does is like, "Oh, you broke out a little there. It's okay. We'll work on it."
okay, hold on, because
Right.
that was bad. But his attitude about her is to say that some people call her pushy. Some
Some,
people.
even her mother.
Yeah, but she's so critical. Like, this is a very, very kind way of looking at Ashia. Some people call her pushy. So, yeah, she's bossy. She's bossy as all get out. Wow. She's critical, she's judgmental, she's cruel, and she does it all in the name of her faith and God. And this is what God wants because it's his plan that I should be with you. And so, therefore, you are the perfect man, but I have to make you into the perfect man first. So, everything I do, you must submit to and accept as God's will.
God has given me the perfect man, but he's not perfectly aesthetically pleasing, even though God theoretically or God made this man. So now you are trying to fix God's work again. She is higher than God.
Yep. 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 So then the airport scene. Go. What the heck?
I don't know, but she's yes, yeah, okay. You put on weight. I thought it was really cute how he kept complimenting her mom.
Mm-hmm.
That was adorable, and yet she's nitpicking him. Oh, it looks oh, yeah, you do look a bit bigger. You have been hitting the gym. And then we find out that, she's always trying to take pictures of him, and when he's sleeping, she takes pictures of the back of his head so she could show him his bald spot.
What I noted was his behavior when he meets her at the airport. It's not all about the love yous and misuse and them both expressing that to one another. It's about him basically looking for her approval in that,
Yes,
I have gained weight. Did you see? Did you notice? I have been working on my face. Did you notice my skin? Have you seen it?
I'm a good
Look at my
boy.
hair. Like, he shouldn't have to justify his physical appearance to her. And yet
Yeah.
that's exactly what, like, she has criticized him so much and to such a great extent that he feels that he has to get, the attaboys from her when they see each other first time in 8 months. Problem? Yes.
Yeah. Massive, massive, massive problem. I don't know how much he cares. I think he really just wants to get that green card and head over. So he's going to do whatever he has to because presumably she's paying for it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do what I have to get there
Yeah.
to please this woman. I don't know. It was uncomfortable. And he seemed so positive or at least brainwashed about the whole thing that, this is what I have to do. And this is what I need to do to make her happy. And I will do it because I want her to be happy. And
Yeah.
dude, get some self-respect.
That would be nice. A final note on this one is when he talked about the fact that she doesn't actually give her critiques of him or judge him to his face when they're there. It only happens when she's back in the States. Let's read on to Catie and Josh.
I am absolutely sick of her. You complain about Ashia.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand Catie and her excuses.
Yes. Her excuses are awful.
Mhm.
And she doesn't even remember what she does. It's not just the question of, I drank too much last night and I don't remember, which is a
A
bad
problem.
enough, yes, huge problem. But when she's talking to him about having seen a virtual tour of the apartment, she doesn't even remember. She says, well, I think I saw it. I think I skimmed it. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Like, is she even in the presence of her own life, or is she having out of body experiences all the time?
I don't think she's grounded in any capacity. I think her brain is just as flighty as her mouth is.
Okay. Well, it seems that they have, in fact, signed a 12-month lease on this apartment without having seen it. Whether she had a virtual tour or not, I have no clue. But
He doesn't
talk,
know either. No one
talk,
will know.
talk about a leap of faith.
Mhm.
That was risky.
And did he actually sign the lease himself? Because he said that
Apparently,
he was committed to it, so,
hmm
like, it based on his verbiage, it makes sense that he is committed to this.
yeah.
It's a lot of trust that you're putting in this woman who doesn't trust the words that are coming out of her own mouth.
Another thing she doesn't trust is her memory. She had to text her friend from the party, which was just the night before, to ask her, "Did I kiss anybody on the lips at the party?" Like,
And w so she had another blackout, and she said it was, like, the night before, so where was Josh?
this was the party at the pub to welcome him to the States. But we know she's already had a
Oh, I
conversation with Josh about the party and her being good and not kissing anybody. But she had to then go reach out to a friend to get a third party verification. Did I do this or not? Because I don't remember.
and she said, yeah, well, apparently, like, when I was leaving, I asked everyone to kiss me on the lips, but,
Yes.
like, it's not, like, a sexy thing. It's just because 'cause you're my friend and I wanna make out with you or something to that effect. Like, dude,
Still weird. Who does
it
that?
it would be one thing to go and give them all hugs.
Mhm. Yeah, just bizarre. Another thing that's very weird and
Oh,
bizarre to me is when she talks about her biggest fear, biggest, this is the one that she dwells on all the time, of course, is getting stuck in a washing machine and being washed until she dies. Why would you be afraid of that? Who
wouldn't
crawls
you be
into washing
more
machines?
wouldn't you be more afraid of the fact that you're going to burn everyone and everything down because you turn on the stove with a Brita water filter on it and it melted and you didn't even notice? I think you would notice getting into an industrial sized laundry machine because you're not going to fit into the apartment size one that you have. So yeah. You have a lot of other things to be afraid about, let
Yeah.
alone the laundry.
Yes.
And she also said that having a schedule and or deadlines triggers her OCD. What?
No, I
Isn't
know.
a schedule and routine good for those with OCD? Because it's getting off of the schedule that triggers mine.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't make any sense at all.
she doesn't make any sense. Everything that comes out of her mouth is a friggin' excuse. And, when they first get in the car to go move, she farts and laughs about it, and nobody rolls down a window.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. She is very much an odd duck. I don't
Mhm.
understand if it's stuff that is coming out of her mouth because she's nervous and on camera, or if she does it deliberately because she's on camera and she wants to be a little bit controversial, or if she just really does have a completely differently wired brain. One of the things that stood out for me with this was that when they get into the new apartment, she immediately wonders if she steps into this giant window onto the window ledge inside, of course, if people would see her standing there if she was naked. And I'm like, dude, who thinks this when they get into their new apartment? Oh, I wonder if I stood naked here, if people could see me. What?
I'm not faulting her for that one.
Okay.
Not for
All right.
not for that one, but, like,
Okay. Well, what about the mattress?
that was gross.
Yes.
Invest in a mattress pad or mattress protector, that thing.
hmm
Wouldn't that be nice?
Also, who thinks that a twin mattress is for two people? A twin is a single bed. It's meant for two twin beds in the same room, and they each have
I
obviously,
wasn't
you
even
can
gonna
use
talk about that because I was
fuck.
feeling claustrophobic.
Just it's a single mattress, dear. Okay? Go get yourself
Single.
at least a double or a queen
Mhm.
or a king if you have the space for it. Those are meant for two people.
Yes. And then she goes on this weird rant about how sometimes she's more financially conscientious than Josh is.
Yes.
And I wondered where that came from
Mhm.
because she signed this lease and how much input did he have into it? Did they discuss a budget? Does it fit within the budget? We didn't talk about that, but where does this money come into and how much money do you spend on your extracurricular activities?
Definitely.
I don't
Alcohol's expensive.
yeah. I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth.
No. Then the other unreliable thing that she starts and weird thing that she starts talking about is the strap-on dildo. I'm sorry.
That shipped out of the box, not even in, a cotton bag or, some sort of proper storage or something, back in the box. If you clean it and you put it back in the box, but you don't clean it every time before you put it back in the box, the bacteria and the germs are still in the box.
Bacteria aside for just a moment,
Sorry, really bothered.
the fact that she, A, brings it out, a very intimate and personal item, the fact that it does actually have dirt on it or stains or something that Josh noticed, and thirdly, the fact that she mentions quite gleefully that she's already used it. With whom? Because this is the first time that Josh is ever seeing it. And why does she think it's appropriate to say, here is a toy that we can use together? Oh yeah, I tried it out already. With what person or persons?
I thought she said that she had already tried it on herself.
She has tried it on herself. She said, I don't even want to have to say this.
Well, you're going to have to.
She was talking about how she was having difficulty because once she, oh Lord,
Inserted.
yes, there was something that would happen like with the other end. And so clearly she has tried to use the other end with another person.
No, see, the way that I was picturing it was she had difficulties using it because she couldn't keep both parts in at the same time on herself.
How the heck are you supposed to do that? You'd have to have crazy anatomy. Anyway,
I don't know. I couldn't believe that she brought it out. I couldn't believe she spoke so extensively about it.
yes.
And then he's like, she pulls it out during the interview, no pun intended. And he's like, "Oh, thought you said it was clean." She's like, "Yeah, I did clean it." And he's like, "Well, there's a spot on it." She's like, "Well, I boiled the shit out of it."
And I was like, good choice of words. Damn it. Let's read on because I can't. Debby and Mido. It's the morning after they had their big fight, and he is, at least, speaking to Debby. Good sign. So they go out to have breakfast at a cafe together and in order to have a discussion about maybe their feelings or how to overcome this blip in their relationship. Doesn't start well when he says that she threw the phone in his face and did I get that right? He says she threw the phone in his face. That is correct. And she says she threw the phone in his lap. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't start well when you have such different perspectives on what actually happened because one person is clearly lying, but they're lying in order to make the other person look bad, right? Or
Yeah, well, I
worse.
wonder who that is.
Don't know.
Who's playing which side here?
But more problematic even than that, even the fact that one of them is lying, is that Heath says she made a big mistake. And if they
Yes.
had been in Egypt when she made this awful mistake of throwing the phone in his face, that he would have left her immediately. So we already have the threats, the ultimatum threats, whatever you want to call it. It's like a clear red flag. If you don't change your behavior, I will leave you. So therefore, I am the boss. You have to listen to me and do what I say because I will leave you.
Yeah. It's the divorce threat too. Like, if you don't change this, I will divorce you. So you're constantly walking on eggshells. And again, another uncomfortable conversation. Like the vitriol in his eyes was just so off-putting, so creepy. And he pulls out this BS about, him having a dream. I have a dream. You need to support it.
Oh,
Whatever. And she's like, yeah, I also have dreams of, being in a healthy and happy marriage. And I don't think that's where this is going. And then
no.
she's like, can I ask you something? And he flat out says no. And you could tell that she's completely taken aback by it.
Mm.
And then he's like, no, he breaks because he's acting, apparently. He breaks and it's like, of course. Yes. What are you asking? She asks for a frigging ring. This man has just showed you who he is in many different ways. And your focus is to get that ring on your finger to make this marriage, on the way to being more permanent.
Yeah.
Save yourself. Let this man go home. The only thing that he wants is to be in the States because he's going to be a huge movie star.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a stepping stone for him. Do you not see it? She does see it, but then she also doesn't care. She's not going to do anything about it.
No, no. And when he says to her, look, or she says to him, she wants to be his wife, not his fan.
Mm-hmm.
And his response is, well, you have to be my fan. That's where his thought process goes to, like, not to, it's more important for me to feel like your husband and for you to feel like my wife than for you to feel like you have to be my fan. No, it's more, if for him, she, number one, has to be his fan. And probably there are several numbers in between. And eventually at the end, there is, you are my wife. So everything that he focuses on, like she mentions, has to do with him becoming a movie star, not let's deal with our marriage or our future marriage and all the feelings we have about it and work on our relationship. It's let's just make sure that everything that you are doing from here on out is so that I can become a movie star and not worry about anybody's feelings or anything, because that's really not important. Wife, husband, who cares? Just get me to Hollywood.
He just wants to be worshipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's all he's got right now. She was his ticket to the States. She's his ticket to Hollywood.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Probably could have made better connections, but I mean, what do I know? Not like, he actually has been in movies. Why don't you network within your community and be like, yo, I want to move to the States? Find someone within that network who could assist as opposed to random Debbie.
Yeah. Yeah. Very sad. Any final notes for this week?
Nope. I think I'm good. What about you?
Yeah. I am anticipating next week's episode. It looks like there's going to be a lot of arguments and a lot of stuff coming out. So I'm excited. Yeah. Who wouldn't be?
Something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.